Chapter 15 Naradiya Kirtan Padati, Mr. Cholkar's Sugarless Tea, Two Lizards. The readers may remember that mention was made in the sixth chapter regarding the Ramanavami festival in Shirdi, how the festival originated, and how in the early years there was a great difficulty in getting good Haridas for performing Kirtan on that occasion, and how Baba permanently entrusted this function, Kirtan, to Das Ganu. Now, in this chapter, we shall describe the manner in which Das Ganu was performing the Kirtan. Naradiya Kirtan Padati. Generally, our Haridasas, while performing the Kirtan, wear a gala and full dress. They put on a headdress, either a peta or a turban, a long flowing coat with a shirt inside, and uparni, short doltar on the shoulders, and the usual long doltar from the waist below. Dressed in this fashion for some kirtan in the Shirdi village, Das Ganu once went to bow to Baba. Baba asked him, "Well, bridegroom, where are you going dressed so beautifully like this?" "For performing kirtan," was the reply. Then Baba said, "Why do you want all this paraphernalia, coat, uparani, and peta, etc.? Doff all that before me. Why wear them on the body?" Das Ganu immediately took them off and placed them at Baba's feet. From that time, Das Ganu never wore these things while performing the kirtan. He was always bare from waist upwards, a pair of chipples that was in his hand, and a garland around his neck. This is not a consonance with the practice generally followed by all the Haridasa, but this is the best and purest method. The sage Narada, from whom the Kirtan Padati originated, wore nothing on his trunk and head. He carried a veena in his hand and wandered from place to place, everywhere singing the glory of the Lord. Mr. Cholkar's Sugarless Tea. Initially, Baba was known in Pune and Ahmednagar districts, but Nana Sahib Chandorkar, by his personal talks, and by Das Ganu, by his splendid kirtans, spread the fame of Baba in the Konkan Bombay Presidency. In fact, it was Das Ganu, may God bless him, who, by his beautiful and inimitable kirtans, made Baba available to so many people there. The audience who came to hear the kirtans have different tastes. Some like the erudition of the Haridas, some his gestures, some his singing, some his wit and humor, some his preliminary dissertation on Vedanta, and some others his main stories, and so on. But among them, there were very few who, by hearing the kirtan, get faith and devotion or love for God or saints. The effect of hearing Das Ganu's kirtan on the minds of audience was, however, electric, as it were. We give an instance here. Das Ganu was once performing his kirtan and singing the glory of Sai Baba in Kaupaneshwar temple in Thana. One Mr. Cholkar, a poor man serving as a candidate in the civil courts in Thana, was amongst the audience. He heard Das Ganu's kirtan most attentively and was much moved. He there and then mentally bowed and bowed to Baba, saying, "Baba, I am a poor man, unable to support my family. If by your grace I pass the departmental examination and get a permanent post, I shall go to Shirdi, fall at your feet, and distribute sugar candy in your name." As good luck would have it, Mr. Cholkar did pass the examination and did get the permanent post, and now it remained for him to fulfill his vow. The sooner the better. Mr. Cholkar was a poor man with large family to support, and he could not afford to pay off for the expenses of Shirdi trip. As it well said, one can easily cross over Nanheghat in Thana district or even the Shayadri range, but it is very difficult for a poor man to cross Umbarghat, that is, the threshold of his house. As Mr. Cholkar was anxious to fulfill his vows as early as possible, he resolved to economize, cut down his expenses, and save money. He determined not to use sugar in his diet and began to take his tea without it. After he was able to save some money in this way, he came to Shirdi, took Baba Darshan, fell at his feet, offered a coconut, distributed it with a clean consciousness along with sugar candy as per his vow, and said to Baba that he was much pleased with his darshan and that his desires were fulfilled that day. Mr. Cholkar was in the masjid with his host Bapu Sahib Jog. When the host and the guest both got up and were about to leave the masjid, Baba spoke to Jog as follows: Give him, your guest, cups of tea, fully saturated with sugar. Hearing these significant words, Mr. Cholkar was much moved. He was wonderstruck. His eyes were bedwetted with tears, and he fell at Baba's feet again. Mr. Jog was also curious about the direction regarding the teacups to be given to his guest. Baba wanted by his words to create faith and devotion in Cholkar's mind. He hinted it where that he got the sugar candy as per his vow, and that he knew full well his secret determination not to use sugar in his diet. Baba meant to say, if you spread your palms with devotion before me, I am immediately with you day and night. Though I am here bodily, still I know what you do beyond the seven seas. Go wherever you will over the wide world. I am with you. My abode is in your heart, and I am within you. Always worship me, who is seated in your heart as well in the hearts of all beings. Blessed and fortunate indeed is he who knows me thus. What a beautiful and important lesson was thus imparted by Baba to Mr. Cholkar. Two lizards. Now we close this chapter with the story of two little lizards. Once Baba was sitting in the masjid. A devotee sat in front of him when a lizard started ticking. Out of curiosity, the devotee asked Baba whether this tick-ticking of the lizard signified anything. Was it a good sign or a bad woman? Baba said that the lizard was overjoyed as her sister from Aurangabad was coming to see her. The devotee sat silent, not making out the meaning of Baba's words. Immediately, a gentleman from Aurangabad came on a horseback to see Baba. He wanted to proceed further, but his horse could not go, as it was hungry and wanted grams. He took out a bag from his shoulders to bring grams and dashed it on the ground to remove dirt. A lizard came out therefrom in the presence of all, climbed up the wall. Baba asked the questioner devotee to mark her well. She at once went strutting to her sister. Both sisters met each other after a long time, kissed and embraced each other, whirled around and danced with love. Where is Shirdi? Where is Aurangabad? How should the man on the horseback come from Aurangabad with a lizard? And how should Baba make the prophecy of the meeting of the two sisters? All this is really wonderful and proves the omniscience, the all knowing nature of Baba. Postscript. He who respectfully reads this chapter or studies it daily will get all his miseries removed by the grace these of the Sadguru for Sai acceptance. Baba. He has to think bow and choose one Sai. Of them. The wise Peace man prefers the good to the pleasant, but the unwise, through greed and attachment, chooses the pleasant. Control of the mind and the senses. The body is the chariot, and the self is its master. Intellect is the charioteer, and the mind its reins. The senses are the horses, and the sense objects their paths. He who has no understanding and whose mind is unstrained, his senses unmanageable, like the vicious horses of a charioteer, does not reach his destination, that is, get realization, but goes through the rounds of births and deaths. But he who has understanding and whose mind is restrained has his senses being under control, like the good horse of a charioteer reaches that place, that is, the state of self realization. Whence he is not born again, the man who has understanding as his charioteer, guide, is able to rein his mind, reaches the end of the journey, which is the supreme abode of the all pervading Vishnu, Lord. Purification of the mind. Unless a man discharges satisfactorily and disinterestingly the duties of his station in life, his mind will not be purified. And unless his mind is that viveka, discrimination between the unreal and the real, and vairagya, non attachment to the unreal, crop up and lead on to the self realization. Unless egoism is dropped, avars got rid of, and the mind made desireless, pure self realization is not possible. The idea that I am the body is a great delusion, and the attachment to this idea is the cause of bondage. Leave off this idea and attachment, therefore, if you want to get the goal of self realization. The necessity of a guru. The knowledge of self is so subtle and mystic that no one could, by his own individual effort, ever hope to attain it. So, the help of another person, teacher, who has himself got self realization, is absolutely necessary. What others cannot give with great labor and pains can be easily gained with the help of such a teacher, for he has walked on the path himself and can easily take the disciple step by step on the ladder of spiritual progress. And lastly, Lord's grace is the most essential thing. When the Lord is pleased with anybody, he gives him viveka and vairagya and takes him safe beyond the ocean of mundane existence. The self cannot be gained by the study of Vedas, nor by intellect, nor much learning. He whom the self chooses gains it. To him, the self reveals its nature, says the Kat Upanishad. After the dissertation was over, Baba turned to the gentleman and said, well, sir, there is in your pocket the Brahma or Manmon in the form of 50 times 5, 250 rupees. Please take it out. The gentleman took out from his pocket the bundle of currency notes and, to his great surprise, on counting them, found that there were 25 notes of 10 rupees each. Seeing his omniscience of Baba, he was moved and fell at Baba's feet and craved for his blessings. Then Baba said to him, roll up your bundle of Brahma, that is, currency notes. Unless you get rid completely of your avars or greed, you will not get the real Brahma. How can be whose mind is engrossed in wealth, progeny, and prosperity expect to know the Brahma without removing away his attachment for the same? The illusion of attachment or the love for money is a deep eddy whirlpool of painful of crocodiles in the form of conceit and jealousy. He who is desireless can alone cross this whirlpool. Greed and Brahma are poles apart. They are eternally opposed to each other. Where there is greed, there is no room for thought or meditation of the Brahma. Then how can a greedy man get dispassion and salvation? For a greedy man there is no peace, neither contentment nor certainty, steadiness. If there be a little trace of greed in mind, all the sadhanas, spiritual endeavors, are of no avail. Even the knowledge of the well read man, who is not free from the desire of the fruit or reward of his actions, and who has got no disgust for the same, is useless and can't help him in getting self realization. The teachings of a guru are of no use to a man who is full of egoism and who always thinks about the sense objects. Purification of mind is absolutely necessary. Without it, all our spiritual endeavors are nothing but useless show and pomp. It is therefore better for one to take only what he can digest and assimilate. My treasury is full, and I can give anyone what he wants, but I have to see whether he is qualified to receive my gift. If you listen to me carefully, you will be certainly benefited. While sitting in this masjid, I never speak untruth. When a guest is invited to a house, all the members of the household and other friends and relations that happen to be present are entertained along with the guest. So, all those who were present in the masjid at this time could partake of the spiritual feast that was served by Baba for the rich gentleman. After getting Baba's blessing, one and all, including the gentleman, left the place quite happy and contented. Special characteristics of Baba. There are many saints who, leaving their houses, stay in forest caves or hermitages and remain in solitude, try to get liberation or salvation for themselves. They do not care for other people and are always self absorbed. Sai Baba was not of such a type. He had no home, no wife, no progeny, nor any relations near or distant. Still, he lived in the world, society. He begged his bread from 4 or 5 houses, always lived at the foot of the neem tree, carrying on worldly dealings, and taught all the people how to act and behave in this world. Rare are the Sadgurus and saints who, after attaining God vision, strive for the welfare of the people. Sai Baba was the foremost of these, and therefore, says Hemant Pat, blessed is the country, blessed is the family, and blessed are the chaste parents where this extraordinary, transient, precious, and pure jewel Sai Baba was born. Bow to Sri Sai. Peace be to all.